Okay. So that first loud pop was when I was braking. I wasn't even really braking that hard. And then when I accelerated, there was another pop that happened, and it was even quieter. And then there was a third pop, and that's when I barely hit a bump. That wasn't even much of a bump. But then when I get going like I am now, you probably won't hear it as much. But as I slow down, see, I'm braking currently, and there's no pop sound at all. And then I just accelerated. There was that pop sound. And if I try accelerating again, it won't happen until I decelerate to create that pop sound. And then once or like do a brake, and I can create that pop sound, then I can create the pop sound with the acceleration. And so I'll be braking up here. Let's see if we can get the pop sound. Okay, so there was the pop sound. I had to brake pretty hard to get that. And sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's quiet. And I feel like you can hear it right around here in this area of the car. Okay, I'm gonna brake, so it'll probably happen. Oh, actually, no, it won't happen because I've already done that. So when I braked there, it didn't happen because I've already did it back there when I braked. And I didn't really accelerate, I was already going. And so when I pushed on the gas, it didn't cause any sound. So that's another thing that I've noticed when driving and trying to manipulate this clunk or knock or pop sound that I'm hearing, is once I get going, I can't really create that sound until I can have some sort of sudden shift in motion of the car. So like a change in that motion. So that's usually when the sound happens. So there's the sound there. But I am hitting these bumps and I'm not getting these sounds. It's so random that I will get that clunk sound from the bumps. It's completely random. It's not every time. A very small percentage of the time it will happen. I just went over a bunch of bumps there, nothing. So like, I really don't think it has to do with anything with the struts or control arm or ball joint or whatever is there. I was told it was the brakes, and I replaced the brakes because, well, they did need to be replaced. but it still didn't fix it, and I was pretty positive it wouldn't have fixed it, but I did it anyways because they needed to be fixed. They were getting brake pads were getting pretty low. The calipers, they're all intact. Nothing's loose there. So it's just none of that. I was also told that it was my struts, and then and I was usually hearing the sound more like on this side over here of the car, and now I've kind of narrowed it to like about here. And when I replaced the right strut on the passenger side, front right, it didn't change anything. It didn't do anything, and so I took it off and put the old one back on, because that's kind of where the sound was coming from. It was either the center or on the right, and so I assumed the left one's gonna be fine. And I've looked at the strut. It doesn't look like there's any leakage or anything that's completely damaged. It looks just like any other strut. It actually looked like the brand new one, except for it was more dirty and more worn out, which is basically how it is if it's a used strut. So that knock there, that was caused, I had to brake pretty hard, because traffic ahead was starting to slow down. So, but yeah, that's kind of the situation, is when I brake, or and it's not just braking, it's when I brake to the point where I'm shifting forward harder, and you can really feel your body go forward, but if I'm doing like a gradual brake where it feels smooth, I won't ever get the knock. So I just had the knock there from accelerating to get onto the freeway. And that's the other thing too, is when I accelerate to the point where it causes me to like shift back more, that's also when the sound happens. But if I'm already going like 50 miles an hour and then try to punch it, the acceleration won't happen. The other thing that I've noticed is kind of what I mentioned earlier, is I just accelerated, I caused the sound to happen. I will not be able to cause that sound to happen until I decelerate or brake hard enough to make the sound happen. And so it's almost like this motion type thing, of a sound. So I think I just did it there. It was kind of quiet, just by trying to brake hard. So yeah, we'll see if we can get some others to pop or knock.